welcome back, Raw Reviewers, for another Raw review. And what are we Raw reviewing this time? It's the Gokai buckle. The Gokai buckle is rather plain. That's what it does. But I know some people are interested in seeing what this thing is all about. I got this on eBay with a bunch of other stuff. You can also get it in the Gokai DX set. But for all intents and purposes, it doesn't do any lights and sounds, has no other functionality beyond. And of course, unless you're a Japanese child, the belt won't fit you. However, I picked up some hemp twine on Amazon not that long ago. And hemp twine, as it turns out, not only is it, well, despite the fact that it's rather thin, so you probably wouldn't want to use it for, like a cosplay, it's not actually all that bad in terms of actual strength. So I use that. Put your little buckle on. There you go. So, as for retail price, since it's an export item, you'll have to either find it on Amazon or eBay. It'll probably cost you anywhere between 20 to 50 bucks. My personal advice would be find it packaged with something else. As for its functionality, it does one thing, and it does it well, at least better than the US one. You take a Ranger key. Apparently put mine on upside down. Wonderful. Give me a moment. Take your Ranger key, you line it up with the holding pegs on it. Stick it in. A little actually hard to do it when it's hanging from your belt, so you usually have to put it in beforehand. The key is you want to be able to get the feet of the key down here at the bottom. You want to make sure it's not too high up, because if it's too high up, it'll hit the top of the chamber. Once you have it in there, swing it around. If it's not in there securely, it will fly out. However, if you do have it in there securely, properly secured in there, and that's really all it does. So, what's my verdict? It's good for what it is, but I wouldn't want to pay for the standalone. Same thing with the US version. You don't want to really pay for this as a standalone item. It's best to get it packaged with something else, whether it be with the battle set, assuming you actually like the battle set. And if I were to pick a battle set, I'd say go with the Silver Ranger one. Since the buckle is the same, the morpher is the same as the standalone one, as opposed to the standalone, as opposed to the morpher that's on the red and blue sets. That's actually a script down model, but since the Silver Ranger gets no love, his morpher is the exact same as the retail release, so you'd get this, you get the silver morpher, you get the crap gun, but all that fun stuff. For the Gokai level stuff, again, I would say look for like an eBay auction, or if you're not, because on Amazon they're going to go for a much higher price point, but that would be my thing, is make sure this is bundled with something else. If you're going to get it standalone on Amazon, for example, make sure you've got something like Amazon Prime to offset the shipping price. Make sure you're bundling with other stuff and you're using the same shipping person. Suppose having it have separate shipping and separate tax. It's all bundled together from one company. It's a little bit easier. Because standalone, it's really not all that big of a deal. It's good if you want to complete a costume and actually have a little belt buckle. But because it is so finicky, if you were to say you're cosplaying as Gokai Silver or Marvelous or what have you, put your little Marvelous key in there, and that happens 9 times out of 10 in my experience. And really, when you get right down to it, that's kind of underwhelming if you think about it. You could, in theory, put some type of tape or glue onto to hold your key in place. But at that point, you might as well just, get a regular cosplay non-flipping buckle. Because at that point, you're pretty much molding it in there. So, those are things to keep in mind. It's good for cosplay, good for maybe role-playing, but you have to keep in mind that when it flips around, you're going to have to be ready to catch it because it will fly out. And that's just something you have to deal with. So that is my raw review for the Gokai buckle. Hope some of you found it of interest. And again, if you need something to hold your belt on, I personally use this. I got it on Amazon for about $5. That's all, raw reviewers. See you next time.